feel that you cannot represent the ANC's interest anymore, you must just be grateful to the ANC, thank the ANC, and withdraw yourself. That is the only discipline and the modest way that you could do to the people and the membership of the ANC. So those people who voted with the opposition must face the discipline in the organization. And it is in that context that we believe that if the national officials do not convene the special NEC, we must work together to convene the special NEC to deal with this matter. In preparation for the national conference, provincial secretaries working with regional secretaries will convene both provinces to share note and discussion on various discussion documents, especially on issues that relate to policies as we go forward. But we can safely say that ours is to ensure that the national conference of the ANC becomes a smooth platform where we engage on issues and even elect the leadership without any challenge as we have seen before. None of us wish to see the recurrence of what happened in Polokwane, and we will want to see the traditions of the ANC of an internal democracy characterized by unity of the ANC, where we all elect the leadership and emerge united. We'll want to see that prevailing. Led by provincial secretaries, the PWCs agreed that the principle of continuity and change must feature prominently, and we must find expression especially within the officials who must be elected at the conference. And the officials of both provinces will work together around discussion on names. We will know that we have not yet been given the mandate to discuss names, only in September, where we'll discuss names. So once the National Executive Committee says, let's discuss names, we'll then zoom on names. We'll therefore support each other on the issue of the leadership, discuss, support the collective, and ensure that we support the overarching policy framework of radical economic transformation. In summary, that's what we are discussing. I think we'll leave to Comrade Chair, Comrade Ace, to take it forward, the issues we've discussed.
No, I'm sure all those issues are issues we have discussed. I don't want to waste your time. I think the chair of KZN has captured all our engagement. Issues of racism, issues of sexism, non-sexism, issues of patriarchy, issues of violence in society, and I think one of the issues are issues of corruption. Okay?
All right, thank you very much, leadership. I'm sure we can invite questions from our colleagues if there's any. For me, it looks like a very clear media statement of the joint leadership from two provinces. All right, let me start with my sister there at the back. You will be number one, and number two you will follow in that sequence. You'll be number three, you'll be number four, you'll be number five. Let's five. Yeah, it's fine. You'll follow as well. It's number five. Can we start?
Yes, from ANC. My question is just to the chair of KZN. You've mentioned vaguely that you haven't spoken about leadership, but you do have a sense of what your branches are talking about. Do you know where they are heading to? Are they going for CR7 or NPZ 17? Or are they actually going for the other names that have come up, like USSU,
Thank you very much. The leadership will note all those questions. Let's aggregate them. Number two, please introduce yourself as we speak.
My interest is how to find it. How possible to find someone who voted the vote.
Right, number 3.
Madam from SABC. Mine is on speaking as ANC on unity. Moving forward and considering, of course, what was discussed on unity and what are the plans to unite. Was the matter of the alliance spoken about, the relationship with the ANC and the alliance, was that discussed? Also, speaking about unity, of course, in the province, we can't ignore that this week we're going to a court case. What does that do then for unity within the ANC? Because this is a court case of the ANC versus the ANC. That's one question. And the other one, of course, was also on the, just to add to my comment on the motion, how are you going to find them, that one as well, and also to ensure that you don't sort of now now accuse people who may have not voted in the case.
Number 4.
Zianda Mbogo from Outlook News 702. My question is linked to my colleagues regarding this week's court case. Was there any discussion about possible scenarios that could unfold? Did the KZN ANC perhaps ask for advice from the Free State, because they also faced a similar situation 5 years ago? And obviously, as asked by Ayanda, I mean, what will this do for especially the KZN ANC being united ahead of the national conference?
Number 5, the last one.
Hi, Camille from News 24. You guys mentioned one of the first things was the gender violence, femicide within the country, and the concern with the ANC and the police cases that are done. My obvious question is, Deputy Minister Manana, do you guys have an opinion on that? What are your thoughts on that entire matter? And what has been said by even the ANC?
Thank you very much. The leadership.
Thanks. Let me not take all questions, so let me take the questions that are more geographically located in KZN, which were not meant for this briefing. There is a case this week, and therefore, did we discuss it? The scenarios. Firstly, it is not us who have taken the ANC to court. You will know that the PEC of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal is the respondent. So we will not want to discuss that matter. What we can safely say is that the PEC have responded to the case, is ready for the case, and it is unfortunate that ANC issues are discussed in court. There is no political issue that could be resolved by a court. Political issues are discussed politically and are resolved politically. In relation to scenarios, you discuss scenarios when you've got doubt. I said before, and I still want to repeat that people who were running that conference are two. In particular, there were two people running the provincial conference, the 8th provincial conference. And that was the then provincial chairperson and the then secretary. And therefore, all of those issues, if there is a need to respond to those issues, those people are there, they can respond. I believe that the two people who were the chair and the secretary by then knows everything, what transpired. And for that matter, they equally know what transpired from A to Z. What one knows is equal to what the other knows. And therefore, that's what we know. There's no need of scenarios here. You draw scenarios if there is a doubt. Well, whether we have tapped into the experience of Free State or not, for me, it's neither here nor there, because the cases might not be similar. But the issue, once you say it's the question of the conference, and it doesn't mean that it is contested on the same basis. You first have to read papers. So I'll encourage that you go and read papers as Yanda and look on those issues. But the two people who are there, the people who were there preparing for the conference are there, and I hope they will be there. If there is an answer that is needed, they will respond to that matter. I think I've answered the question well. Giovanni, you spoke and you said what is the view of branches. Branches, I'm interested in answering this question, and it's the only question I'm going to answer which does not relate to geographically KZN located issues. Branches of the ANC, though they've not spoken on the names, but they need leaders who are going to ensure that there is unity in the ANC. They need leaders who are going to fight and stem out factionalism. They need leaders who are going to ensure that South Africa and its economy is focused on serving the people of South Africa. They want leaders who are not going to be apologetic on expropriation of land with no compensation. Branches of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal are clear, I know for a fact, that they want leaders who are not going to say, no, we apologize, or what. They want leaders who are going to expropriate land with no compensation. They want leaders who are not going to be apologetic of utilizing mines for the benefit of South Africans, not leaders who are going to utilize mines for their own selfish interest. That's what the membership of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal want. The membership of the ANC in the province also understand quite clearly that when we send people to parliament, those people represent the ANC, not themselves. Should any of us who are in the legislatures or parliament who feel that we must then represent ourselves, they know, branches knows that we must first resign and then stand as individuals. So that is the line that branches of the ANC expect. I thought I would take those few questions. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm sure we have agreed that you can talk about MPs voting secretly, but you know that there are those MPs who are even now publicly saying this is how people must be influenced. They tweeted, they wanted members of parliament saying, if you vote Zuma out. So you can't say those people have not voted, therefore their vote was secret. They've made it public. So we are saying action must be taken against such leaders. And we are saying further investigation, which will actually get to the root of the issue, and then the national executive must deal with such issues. There are people who are clear, and their minds are clear that they want to be pushed out of the ANC. They don't want to go on their own. So it is time for the ANC to act. And the second question, I think, you know in Mogale seat what has happened. You know what the DA has done, lie detectors, Mogale City, EFF. Why do we expect the ANC not to act against its ill-disciplined members? Because they are on the ticket of the party. Secretary General Gwede Mantashe says there is no one who is a free agent. And I think we have emphasized the fact that the ANC is one organization. Once the ANC have spoken, and I think they have spoken, including the Women's League, against issues of violence against women and children, issues of femicide, I think we are clear. And we have in our statement said across the board, we're not focusing on one person, we are focusing on society. And these issues throughout South Africa are happening on a daily basis. And we are saying there must be action and harsh action against such people and such individuals.
Thank you very much. I don't want to assume that we are done. There's a follow-up. Let me start with new hands, then I'll come to the follow-up. You'll be number one, and then you'll lead in terms of the follow-ups. You'll be number 2 and number 3. Start, my brother.
Most institutions have mentioned that there are no free agents in the ANC. So what's going to happen with Makosi because she has been very vocal and taking a very strong stance on that?
All right. Follow-up number 1.
This is a separate question, and it's directed at the KZN ANC with regards to ill-disciplined members. You know the nomination process for ahead of the succession debate only opens in September. So are you planning on disciplining comrades like Senzo Mkhulu, who've already pronounced Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa in the lower South Coast region as their preferred candidate? Is that something you're willing to do?
Number 2.
Mine is just again, Chair, in KZN, I know you spoke on it more so on the court case, but mine was on unity moving forward. What is the ANC going to do with regards to unity in the movement?
Last one.
So mine is still on the issue of the members voted against. So the issue is this is a process of the detractor. So we could apply to the entire members in Parliament or those who subscribe to the voted itself. I know there are 26 or so, but how do you send them out and say, you respect to not voted against or for?
I'll allow the leadership to respond, but it looks like we're repeating issues. We've been very generous to even deal with issues outside today's meeting. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. I'm sure one-on-one will be facilitated afterwards. Yeah. Let me give it to the leadership to deal with those that have been raised, and then Siva.
On the
all right, then.
I just want to find out that it seems that the KZN and Free State are on a mutual understanding of South Africa going forward and the organization's unity. But we do know as well that KZN met with Malanga and as well as the Free State meeting with the Northwest. Can we say now that the 4 provinces, with what you've spoken about, are in the same space?
No, thanks. Let me respond to the issue by Thabo. The issue of Makosi with the DC. And there is a disciplinary process, and therefore it is better to leave it at that level. In the ANC, the DC is an independent body. And once the matter is referred to the DC, you better leave it there. Are we going to take disciplinary actions around the pronouncement by corporate Senzo? No. We're not going to take disciplinary actions. Unity, I want to answer that point around of whether we're going to take DC or not, in also together with the point of unity. Those who have pronounced themselves, our task as the leadership is to engage them. Engage them internally in the ANC. Once the opportunity of discussing leadership issues is open, we will then say, corporates, you have spoken on this issue, let's debate. And then open a platform in the region where they belong and engage them as comrades within structures of the ANC. Because we might go around speaking as individuals, but we belong to branches, we belong to RECs, we belong to the PECs. At the end, there is what is called democratic centralism, where the will of the majority prevails. You might want to express your view, but your own branch, you find that it will express something else, or your own region express something else. So what we are going to do, we will allow comrades to speak them, on their own, but we are going to engage them politically, internally, in structures of the ANC within their regions. And we will agree or disagree, and there is nothing wrong to disagree on issues of leadership. We have always disagreed. We disagreed even in 1997 When we went to elect the national chair in a form of terral quota, many of us disagreed on that point. We had two views. We debated in the then ML Sultan for a long time. Under the leadership of Comrade Bundebele, we went there divided on that point. So we will discuss with comrades on that issue. We will debate it, and that's how we're going to build unity. The other thing that is hindering unity in the province is this issue of the court case. In fact, we are more happy that it is taking place. Because the moment you try to unite the organization, others say, no, you want to unite because there is a pending court case. The fact that it is coming and it will be over, then it's giving the opportunity for the ANC to unite. Because post this, the ANC need to unite for its strategic objective of uniting the people, of ensuring service delivery to the people of the province, of winning 2019 elections, of ensuring that all members of the ANC and all leaders of the ANC are together in the campaign. So the sooner we go through the issue of the campaign, the better. And I think the fact that this case is sitting this week, I think it's good for us as KwaZulu-Natal, so that we go for elections campaign, having clean all of these issues that are handicapping us, that are constraining other members of the ANC to participate. The case must go through, irrespective of whatever happens, but the ANC, the victory of the ANC is that it must deal with it, put it aside, it must ensure that it then consolidate itself, unite the organization as we go forward.
I think the last issue, we have not talked about lie detectors. I was just saying the DA has used lie detectors when it comes to their members. And we are saying the NEC must investigate this question of these public representatives who voted with the opposition. But there are these ones who are publicly known, and they are still brave to say they don't worry, they won't lose anything. That's when the Constitution is supposed to be applied with immediate effect. So our meetings, I think we're going to still meet with different other provinces. And we are discussing the same things. We're discussing the need for the ANC to be united. We are discussing policy conference recommendations. We are from a policy conference. There are certain recommendations where we agree, disagree. We are now trying to come together and say, for instance, we still feel very strong, and I think that was also the policy conference recommendation, that even the way it's captured in terms of our resolution, that white monopoly capital exists in South Africa, even if we don't want to classify monopoly in terms of race. But who is actually presently, the economy is in the hands of white and male. And those are the issues we are discussing as we move forward to the number of top 5, top 6, top 7. Those are the issues we are trying to discuss in terms of policy matters, so that by the time we arrive at the conference, we know that it's going to be a smooth and there is consensus around serious issues. Radical economic transformation, it's a Mangaung resolution. It's not a recommendation of the policy conference. Therefore, there I think the conference have spoken. Ours is to implement and make sure, and that's why we support the mining charter, because it is trying to address the question of radical economic transformation. So the unity and the principle of continuity, because people on the ground, the branches are discussing leadership. We have different positions as individuals, as branches, and we are just saying let's agree on principles. Secretary General has always said in the National Executive Committee, it's not everybody who does the ANC work. We are saying that what type of leaders do we need to take our struggle forward in terms of radical economic transformation. And those are the principles we are actually outlining: continuity, change, infuse the young leadership, and make sure that as we move forward. So when we meet, this is the same discussions we had with Northwest, KZN had with Gauteng. We'll still meet Gauteng ourselves, and our neighbor Northern Cape will be discussing the same issues. Can we play our role as provinces to further cement and consolidate unity of the ANC? Thank you very much.
I think that was very comprehensive. The media institutions, thanks for reacting to our invite, even at a short notice. We hope that, as always, you'll report properly and correctly. Thank you.